We're surrounded by compost out here, Eric. So how did you get interested in compost and start Black Bear Composting?
You know, I think it probably started when I was a little kid. My grandmother used to compost, and while I thought that was weird, it kind of stuck with me. And as I, got older, started composting in my own house in my backyard, and was changing jobs and was looking for something more in the sustainability field, and heard of another company doing commercial composting and thought that sounded like a great venture for me to try.
That's great. Now, of course, compost is the foundation for good, healthy soil. What can be composted and what can you compost out here that you might not be able to do kind of in your home residential compost pile?
So we like to say if it grows, it goes. So anything that was once living or growing can be composted. At home, you want to keep out things that will attract animals before this fully decomposed. So things like fats and dairy and meat, but those things compost great and do so at a commercial facility like ours. And so we can compost any sort of food waste at all, as well as any sort of compostable products and yard waste, things of that nature.
Nice. So this is the first stage in a compost pile. We've got a great pile right in front of us. Can you tell us a little bit about how compost is made?
Sure. So composting is a natural process. We're managing that natural process because in nature, you don't have giant piles of food waste out there. But it's all about the microbial activity and keeping those microbes happy. They get plenty of food from the materials. They get plenty of water because food waste has a lot of water in it. So our job is to keep air circulating, which is why you turn your compost pile, or in our early stages, we have a forced aeration system to force air through the pile. And we can tell those microbes are thriving by temperature. So temperature is a byproduct, meaning that they're multiplying, that they're consuming these products, and that they're happy. So it's our job to keep them happy. So we take a temperature reading to make sure that they're doing just such.
So what's the temperature of the pile right now?
Well, let's find out. I've got this thermometer that allows us to track that. Yesterday it was at a little over 140, so I expect it to be somewhere around there, maybe a little bit higher. The temperature is important to make sure that we're doing our job well, but also to make sure that we need a temperature over 130 degrees to make sure that we are sterilizing any sort of weed seeds or fruit seeds, as well as any sort of foodborne pathogens.
So what's it do from here down the chain?
So we bring it out of here and we form a windrow, which is a nice long pile of compost. And when it's in a windrow, it just gets more exposure to the natural elements, sun, wind, rain, air, all those types of things will help keep that process moving along.
That's great.
And we can see how things are going over here. We can see some things that are signs of life of a healthy composting process.
Yeah, it looks like you've got a lot of fungus in here. Lots of nice mycelium in it right now.
Absolutely.
Great for gardening.
Absolutely. So when you see in your compost pile, if you see some white fungus, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You're going to have all sorts of creatures in your pile. Some you can see, some you can't see. You might see some flies. You might see a little bit of earthworms digging at the base of your compost pile. All good signs of life. You see a little steam, then you know that there's some microbial activity in there and some temperature in your pile. So those are great things to have.
I see food scraps, of course, yard waste. What are a lot of the raw ingredients that you're putting into these piles to balance them?
We balance our materials with food scraps as our focus, and with that we put in wood chips and leaves. Leaves break down a little faster than the wood chips. Wood chips help give it structure, so when you're building a compost pile, you want to have some natural structure to keep air pockets in your compost pile. And parts where you turn your compost pile at home are just to get the air back into the pile.
And about how long does it take for the pile to break down?
Good things take time. So for us, a commercial facility, we do it in 6 months. So in your backyard pile, your pile's gonna be probably a little smaller than ours. So it might take a little bit longer.
Now I do see that there looks like there might be some contamination in here, but how do you get all that out in order to have the finished product?
Right, so contamination is a challenge because we do focus on food waste. Along with food waste comes food packaging and cutlery and serviceware. So we try to work with our customers to make sure that they keep those materials out or that they swap out those materials for compostable versions. And so there might be some things in this pile that look like they're plastic, but they're really a compostable plastic designed to break down in a compost pile, a commercial compost pile. It's not going to hurt your home compost pile, but it might take a little bit longer. So, and then there are things that shouldn't be in here, like I'm looking at a latex glove. So those come out the old-fashioned way, where someone like myself picks it out either at the beginning of the process when we first pick it up, or when we're mixing it, or here. And then our final step of the process is screening it, where everything goes through a screen, and it's a physical screen. So anything that can fit through a 1/4-inch, hole is our finished product. Everything too big goes out another chute, and that's what we call our oversized materials.
Well, I'll help you out and pull out one thing there. And why don't we go on our way to see the finished product?
Appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely. Let's go.
Oh, wow. Oh, geez. Oh, this is just beautiful. So obviously compost is a fantastic addition for home gardens, vegetable gardens, fruit trees.
Yeah.
What are some of the other benefits of compost?
Putting this compost back into your garden, putting it on your lawn, using it for trees. It's a great way of putting carbon back into the soil, improving soil health, making that soil a carbon sink.
Nice. So it's got implications for combating climate change.
Absolutely, absolutely. So of all the things you can be doing to fight climate change, probably one of the biggest things you can do at your house is to have healthy soil and turn your yard, however big it is, into a carbon sink. Waste less, keep those materials out of the landfill, where organic materials in landfills off gas and create all sorts of greenhouse gases that are far more potent than carbon dioxide. Composting it in your backyard reduces the transportation effects of that, keeps those materials local, putting it back in your soil, growing up strong, healthy plants that are going to pull more carbon out of the air. It's a wonderful thing that everybody can be doing. It's super simple to do.
That's great. Now you have a lot of customers, a lot of supporters. You've got a subscriber program. How can people get involved and find out more information about Black Bear Composting?
Absolutely. You can go to our website and you can learn about our services for businesses, for organizations, for offices, and for residents. So we've got subscription programs for residents to compost at home who might have their own compost pile but might want to augment it with things that they can't do in their backyard, or maybe they just want to be a part of the program. And the wonderful thing about our programs, whether you're a business or you're a resident, is that part of the program is getting you some of this good stuff back as part of the process, because we want people to remember why they're doing this, and nothing is better for that reminder than having some awesome compost that you can put right in your garden to grow more food.
Well, thank you so much for the service that you guys provide. We really applaud what you're doing out here.
Absolutely, we love it.